Hi, hello guys. The super specialty entrance examination is just a couple of days away. So I was wondering if I should make a video in this last moment of time and would it be really helpful to you? So if this guy could give a motivational talk just before the match and in between the match, and that could change the way the players could conduct themselves and play the game and win the game. So why not a small talk a couple of days before that could certainly help you. So have a strategy that would help you to win the game. So the basics I would be telling what to do and what not to do in the last couple of days and also on the judgment day. So have a simple, healthy, bland food, home cooked food, preferably, or whatever food that you have routinely in your hostel. Try to avoid oily junk food. Try to avoid the uh, high calorie food and avoid biryanis and those food that can put your stomach on bloating and that can divert the blood supply from your brain to the stomach that can cause you drowsiness. So simple, healthy, good food that don't take the toll on your stomach is advised in the last couple of days and on the day of morning of your examination. Sleep is certainly a very valuable and important thing. It not just relaxes your mind, it can help you consolidate your memory. 7 to 8 hours of adequate sleep that you follow routinely. Don't compromise on sleep because sleep just uh, not just relaxes you, but it consolidates the memory and also gives you a wonderful start for the remaining 16 hours of your coming day ahead. Stay away from using mobile just before you go to the sleep because that light before you go to the sleep certainly it will change the inner hormones and it can delay your sleep ignition time. And then so in the last couple of days stay away from the social media. So minimum social distancing is required because unnecessary unwanted news they can distract you, they can take a toll on your mind and they can disturb you. So stay away from all this social media. For any information, follow the NBE official website, or you can also follow us on the Wise Academy website where we give you the any updates that come on the NBE website. Certainly, if Arjuna could have a doubt on himself whether he should go for the fight or not, is he doing the right thing or not, is he prepared or not, we all have gone to this phase. We all have a doubt at one point before the exam. Am I really prepared? Have I read completely? Have I revised the adequate number of times? Are my peers ahead of me? All these self-doubts do occur in every mind. It's not just only for you. Every mind goes through this phase of doubt. Do not doubt yourself. The war has come and it is time for you to go ahead and fight. Whatever you have prepared so far is adequate and whatever you have prepared so far is the weapons that you have to go and fight for the exam. The self-doubt, the thought that are you completely prepared or not will take a toll on your mind. It will take the time that you are preparing for yourself. It will distract you from concentrating. And so whatever you have prepared so far is your weapon. And it's now time for your fight. Stop thinking and stop self-doubting because everyone is at the same level. None of them have read the textbook completely A to Z and none of them have revised the textbook 5 times. The first ranker also should might have given up on some topics. So exam is not about reading A to Z. Exam is about giving the best of what you know. Don't run behind controversial topics and controversial MCQs. My suggestion for you would be that in GIT part, if there's any controversy between Bailey and Savistton, when you try to prepare before the exam and also when you try to mark in the exam, for the GIT part, Savistton should be the gold standard. And for the basic surgical part, that is the basics of surgery, I think if there's any controversy, you should go by Bailey and Love. That's what many faculty and many surgeons have been following from quite some time. So don't fall after controversial MCQs because they form only 1 or 2 MCQs of your entire 150 part. And in the last couple of days, in the last 48 hours, just focus on your weak areas. Weak areas, I just don't mean the areas that you haven't read so far. The weak areas that are high yielding. So you have to be strategic, focus only on those areas that can give you high yielding. Don't just go on areas like gynecology, orthopedics, which obviously many of you might have not covered. Sports injuries, all these topics are not covered. If you haven't covered these weak areas, you can confidently skip these weak areas. But there are specific weak areas which the specific high yielding areas which you could be weak because you haven't given adequate time. And this is the time for you to just browse to the MCQs of that area. Don't give much time on the theory. Organize your time. Organize your time for sleep. Organize your time for food. And do not get distracted by social media. If you decide that this time has to be for revision and solving the MCQs, go through these number of MCQs in a time-bound fashion. If you have to cover 1,000 MCQs in a day, in the 24 hours, reach your goal and target and organize in such a way that you finish off in the daily routine that you have been following so far. And one more thing is many aspirants have the wrong habit of reading for long hours in the night. In case if you are having that, you have to change it at least at this point of time. Have a good night's sleep because your exam is going to be in the afternoon. People have the habit of reading long hours in the night and having an afternoon nap. Afternoon nap has to be changed in the last couple of days because your examination is going to be in the afternoon. What are mock tests that you are given so far? The 7 mock tests each having 150 questions. So here almost you are having about more than 1,000 questions. These mock tests have been designed in such a way that they cover all the topics in the expected anticipated weightage. So all those who are given the mock test, whatever mock test that you are given, just revise those mock tests and focus on the areas that you had gone wrong so far. Those questions that you have marked wrong in the mock test are the ones that you are likely to mark wrong again in your coming exam. So bookmarked questions have to be revised. This is the time for you to revise the bookmarked exam, bookmarked questions. Biostatistics is one thing that certainly you need to dump in your mind in the last 48 hours. What I would suggest you is open your MD Community Medicine MCQ book. As a surgeon, the surgeon faculty would be shooting you only the basic biostatistic question that would be on the mean, median, mode, or that would be on the basic statistical test like chi-square test or T-student T-test. Nothing will be gone into the depth. So basic biostatic MCQs, if you are going to, need not read the textbook also, just go to the basic biostatic MCQs on mean, median, mode and to the standard deviation and basic the statistical tests. Just to go to the MCQs, need not go to the theory as well. 1 or 2 MCQs are certainly expected to come for biostatistics, and they will be straightforward MCQs. And this is the time for you to just go to the MCQs and not the PARC textbook. And many of you guys must be having a doubt whether to read the theory or go to the MCQs. But my suggestion in the last couple of days would be to have a retrospective manner. Start with the MCQ, and any MCQ that you are fearing wrong or that you are doubt in having the concept. In that case, just retrospectively have a glance at the theory. So this is the point of time where you have to focus mostly on the MCQs. That too on those MCQs which have marked wrong previously. Those MCQs which are marked in red, those you have circled, those MCQs have to be revised and gone through again and again in the last couple of days. And now on the main exam day, follow the rules of the game. Whatever NEET super specialty prospectus has prescribed, be on time, carry all the valid ID cards, follow proper dress code, It could be very hot and humid in certain areas. So have a very simple plain clothing. Have a very basic lunch and very simple breakfast in the morning. Have a good night's sleep before the day, before the exam. So this time it's 150 MCQs and the time duration for you is 150 pattern. So I am the guy who had given the exam in 2017, which was the similar pattern of absolute general surgery, which was Bailey and Savishton. What my paper, which I could recollect at that point of time, is that it was more or less general surgery based on Bailey and Savishton, and it was mostly single liner type of MCQs. So for the 150 MCQs that you get in your exam, time division is important. You get about 150 minutes. So the time management in the exam day in the 150 minutes is very important. So imagine if you got 30 lengthy MCQs and about a 40 one-liner MCQs and a 70 of medium-sized MCQ. So for that lengthy MCQs, which you might get about a 30 out of the 150 MCQs, each MCQ should be not giving more than 90 to 120 seconds. So for the lengthy MCQs, you should not spend more than if you're taking about 90 seconds for each MCQ, should not be more than 45 minutes for the lengthy MCQs. And for the medium-sized MCQs, which could come around 80 of your paper, for that you should not give more than a 60 seconds for each MCQ. And for one-liners, don't be in a haste. For one-liners, there could be a trap in most of the one-liners. So for one-liner MCQs, though you can answer the question in a 1 or 2 seconds, give a minimum of 10 to 20 seconds. Read the question thoroughly. Read all the 4 options, because one-liners are designed to make you fall into a trap. So for one-liners, give at least 10 to 20 seconds. Read the question. Read all the 4 options. Don't just go by the first option that you feel that is correct. Read all the 4 and just try to figure out in those 20 seconds whether is there any trap. Words like all except, which of the following is not, or something that you tend to miss upon in these one-liner type of questions. So all these 150 questions that you should be finishing off in at least 125 to 130 minutes. And the last 20 to 25 minutes you should have for relook into those questions that you felt could be doubtful at the time of initial marking. Those questions that you feel whether you could eliminate at least 2 options, I think that you have to put on mark for review. And again, at the end of the exam, in this 20-25 minutes time that you get, you have to come back and revisit those questions. And once again, how to attempt the lengthy questions. In many of the situations, these lengthy questions, it could be very simple last line that could help you figure out what is the entire gist of the question. So one way that you can sort out these lengthy questions is that you just see the image, or you just read the last couple of lines. So there could be a huge clinical scenario, but the question could be absolutely a single liner type. So the question was designed as a lengthy question, but in reality, it is a single liner type of question. So what I used to do is that in these lengthy questions, first I used to see the last couple of lines. For example, if there's a question on Meckel's diverticulum, he gives an entire history. The child presents this way with these complaints, and the laboratory values are these, the imaging findings are these, and the specimen image is given below. So what he needs to figure out is that he wants you to find out the specimen, whether it's an appendix or it's a Meckel's diverticulum. So you visit the last couple of lines rapidly. And I don't suggest you to read. I suggest you to give a glance at the last couple of lines and then go back initially and then start reading. For any lengthy question, you should not take more than 90 to 120 seconds. That you can do by glancing the image or the radiograph and then within a couple of seconds going back to the start and reading the question completely. So this is how you can manage lengthy questions. For one-liners, don't be in a haste. So the same concentration levels is required throughout the exam. Most of you students, you could be giving your absolute concentration in the first half an hour or first 60 minutes, and by the time goes, your concentration fades, and you try to give less concentration towards the last questions. But thing is that the initial questions could be lengthy, the initial questions could be a bit difficult, but don't lose your concentration, don't lose your confidence. The questions at the end of your exam could be very simple ones, and vice versa can also be true. If you find simple questions at the beginning of your examination, many times what you do is that you try to give more excuse me, you tend to give more amount of time in the initially, for even for one-liners and medium-sized questions, you tend to give more amount of time and you keep doing slowly. But by the time you reach the back end of the exam, there could be lengthy questions in the last 50. And that is the time where you need to give more amount of time, and you need to read the entire question. So just devise your time in such a way that small questions, 20 seconds, medium-sized questions, 45 to 60 seconds, and lengthy questions, not more than 2 minutes. So in this way, you should finish off your paper in not more than 125 minutes. And maintain the entire same concentration levels throughout the exam. And NEET super specialty exam has one peculiarity, is that the exam hall will not be organized as per your requirement. The computer will trouble you in between the exam. There will be lots of noises. The AC would be malfunctioning. The fan would be making a lot of noise. It would be very hot and humid in the exam center. So despite all these odds, you have to absolutely focus. And this thing can happen to many people. The computer can malfunction. When this happens, don't waste your time. Immediately notify the examiner who is there. Don't lose your concentration. Stay focused, and ASAP, when the system is recovered, you resume your exam. And in the meantime, when the system is in correction, and I think that is the time you should, in your memory, try to revisit those questions which you are in doubt. Just keep revisiting those questions in your memory, and when the system starts functioning again, you can just give a couple of minutes for those questions. So far you have revisited in your memory. So don't lose the game in case of computer malfunction. And when you come back after malfunction, just check whether the time that you had lost so far has been given back to you or not. And doubtful questions, just mark for review. Don't waste much time on them. You can revisit them again in the last couple of minutes. NEET super specialty, it is +1 and minus +4 and -1 for the scoring. So 1/4 is the negative scoring. If it is a +1 or +1 -1 game, then I would suggest that don't mark much of questions that you feel you don't know. But here it's a +4 and -1. So it's 1/4 that you are losing. So in this kind of game, which is not like INI-CET, I would suggest you to attempt more number of questions. Any question that you are able to eliminate at least 2 options, I would suggest give an attempt. There's a high possibility that it can 50% chance that you can mark it correct, and 50% chance that you can stay ahead of your competitor. For example, if you among the 150, for someone who has attempted 130 questions and left behind 20 questions. So his, imagine he has got all 130 correct, and he has left the 20 questions. So his score would be 130. For someone who has attempted 130, all the 150 questions, and imagine he has got 130 known questions, and out of the 20 questions which he had just given a chance, out of the 20 questions, even if 5 questions are correct, he would be carrying 5 fourths 20, 20 plus 20, and negative score would be 15 negative. So still he is an advantage of plus 5 points in this game of minus 0.25 negative system. So my personal opinion is that any question that you feel, you can eliminate at least 2 options. For those questions which you have never heard in your life, for those questions which you have a numerical based, percentage based exam where you can can't go for a googly, those questions you can leave it. But otherwise, any concept based questions that you have seen in your wards, that you have ever heard in your life, you go for it if you're able to eliminate at least 2 options. So that's it, guys. All the best. Anytime, feel free to reach me on my mobile number. You guys have it. And all the best. Do well. Keep your concentration. Have a good sleep on the day before the exam, and success will be yours. Bye, guys.